That's called stalking in the path. That's called amplification. And it's pursuant to what is monitoring on my device. That's a psychopath looking up like they don't know what I'm talking about, like they don't know what's going on. This is the P.O.C. Let me show you the mental illness exhibited by this demon over here and by the demon flying in circles. You already here. They're going to prison. This is psychopathic pacing. The library is closed, and the demon knows that when you're engaging in surveillance, and they also know it in the engineered light. This is, again, Craig Hazelwood that's committing a kidnapping and referring to the municipal code. All right, this is Vivanco referring to what is harassment of the demons that you're documenting. Engaging in what is kidnapping while you're stalking under Title 18, Section 22618, subsections 1 and 2. Oh, you don't have any authority under the municipal code or the penal code that you're in violation of, by the way, while you're engaged in criminal conduct, including the conspiracy to commit murder as psychopaths that are stalking with light, sexual assault and battery, in concert with the Ontario Police Department. And this is what Jason Isaac Fields is relying on. Tracy Banks is relying on this to date as the same entity that's stalking as a police department that committed kidnapping December 19, 2025. Hazelwood, number 21167, and Owens are going to prison. They committed kidnapping and furtherance of murder while gang stalking, which is exactly what this is right here, at the very heavily documented OVITT Family Community Library, where this same agency committed kidnapping under the 10:29 a.m. fake sun, stalking by helicopter also in that video, where the entity with Corey Walton and the rest of the demons that are going to federal prison engaged in that pattern of conduct. That's impossible light moving across the top of that building. The Ontario police are engaged in criminal defamation on the internet under my name. You will see what are acts of kidnapping while they falsely depict my character as one being a criminal ever, and also engage in what is sexual violence. Molestation of a child is what Jason Fields and Tracy Banks, this entity, has defamed me as, while they've been conspiring my murder, stating that I'm missing, they don't know where I'm at, where that agency is engaged in kidnapping me and defaming my character and kidnapping while stalking. That's how they commit kidnapping. The entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct while they are monitoring my evidence, and the demons that are fearful engage in that very conduct while they're engaged in psychopathic conduct, stalking with light. Because your headlights aren't skating through that hallway like all those demons are. They're going to prison. That's not getting away. They're not getting away with anything. They're going to prison. The demons inside of OVITT, they're going to prison. The entity that's engaged in criminal summoning like Tracy Banks at Woodside, they're going to prison. The demons gang stalking at the Economy Inn, where I show you the fake sun is remaining. They engage in criminal summoning with that agency that is stalking for years and defaming. They're going to prison. While they're engaged in ongoing delusional conduct because they are already surrounded with the evidence, everyone is looking at what is terrorism that's established in the United States. Jason Fields and Tracy Banks are still gang stalking and furtherance of murder, leading this system of gang stalking while they are mentally ill feces consumers, depicting my character as one that's a drug addict, a prostitute, when that actually describes them, and they are engaged in stealing my money and paying demons like this who are acting with impunity. That's the pattern of conduct. The entity that is stalking with the police, you're not doing anything other than stalking. 7XRB 855, I believe. I can't really see that, but Securitas is gang stalk with impossible light as well. I just want to be clear, the entity is stalking by helicopter as a futile means, a feckless means. That's impossible light. That little spotlight's not creating that light activity. That's Securitas, that is a terrorist, that's threatening with the Ontario police, and that's also a psychopath that's demon-possessed. And they're engaged in vagina monitoring as well and furtherance of murder. The Ontario police are exactly why the people of the state are going to prison. That department is being disbanded. Jason Isaac Fields is threatening me and stalking me via that department, and there is no legitimate investigation ever underway by him. He's engaged in what is gang stalking me and still doing so with regard to what is seeking to obstruct justice, which is why he's going to prison. This is all criminal conduct, and this is mental illness and public corruption. The entity that's sounding sirens is doing so in engineer light. All right, this is the entity that's engaged in targeting in this environment. And this is the same impossible light activity that's inside of the library, where the entity is gang stalking. This is psychopathic pacing. This is what I've been putting up on the internet all day long while they're stalking. P.O.C. The entity that's going to the bus stop, this is what they're doing at the bus stop, which is not their headlights, skating across the wall, the shadow of the vehicles across the wall, psychopathic pacing with the sirens, they're gang stalking together. Mike LORENZ is going to prison, ladies and gentlemen. He's a mentally ill psychopath, a terrorist that's been exposed, an enemy of the United States, and so is the terrorist Jason Fields, who is acting with his sex spouse, Tracy Banks. Two delusional psychopaths who are going to prison for a failed plot to defame my character, murder me through this terrorism, and then abscond away with my money and my property. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. and this is evidence speaking to what is impunity. Mike LORENZ is not only going to prison, he's going to prison and he's not getting out. This is P.O.C. and this is impunity. Every single last demon, every single last stalker, every iteration of criminal summoning, every ongoing documented act of stalking by helicopter, they're going to prison and they're not getting out. This is P.O.C. OVITT Family Community Library. It is currently 6:21 p.m. That's the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct. doing so while I'm going to continuously publish the evidence online, putting Jason Fields, a terrorist, a psychopath, a sex offender, and a liar onto the internet. And his co-defendants, Tracy Banks' co-defendants, who are stalking in helicopter and then committing kidnapping while I'm sleeping at a bus stop that they created while they were stalking me on the job, they're going to federal prison for that. This is P.O.C. It's an act of obstruction while the entity is stalking me while I'm publishing evidence. That's the pattern of conduct, and they do so with their little demon-possessed children. They do so with the entity that is immigrants that are in this country targeting with that police department. That's the pattern of conduct. P.O.C.